What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. The weather in the UK at this moment in time has turned a lot cooler, but what is warming up is the transfers with regards to Manchester City, and in particular what we were speaking about in my last video, Kalidou Koulibaly. We've got a huge update on him, but before we crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then please subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, put your push notifications on to be notified immediately when I have the latest Manchester City transfer updates. I'll be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates when the summer transfer window does reopen, but we're posting regular content on this channel with regards to transfers, which are going every 2 or 3 days, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget also, you can find my social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. My email is also in the description below if you want to go and hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. Don't forget, leave your thoughts in the comments below with regard to the transfers mentioned in this video too, and don't forget also leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. We smashed past our 150 like goal for my last video. In fact, just as of today, we hit 200 likes for that video, so thank you everyone for the continued support. For this video, let's aim for 160 likes. Let's see if we can get there. That would be much appreciated. So without further ado, we're going to crack on with this video, and before we get into the real meat of this video with Kalidou Koulibaly, we're going to start off with the outs first, because we've got some updates with some potential outgoings for Manchester City. So we're going to start off first with Angelino. Kicker in Germany have given us an update with regards to Red Bull Leipzig's pursuit of Angelino. Now, their manager, Julian Nagelsmann, he is wanting Angelino to join Red Bull Leipzig on a permanent transfer, and apparently, according to Kicker, he is confident that this will be done this summer. Manchester City have an agreement in place with terms of him going out on loan back in January, that move can be made permanent for between 22 and 23 million euro. However, over the last few weeks, Red Bull Leipzig have been saying that they cannot afford this, and they're willing to pay roughly half of the price that Manchester City are looking for, which is believed to be around 11 million euro. Now, he's had a very impressive campaign for the second half of the season in the Bundesliga, Angelino has, and so Manchester City shouldn't be short of potential suitors that I'd be confident that we'd be able to get 22 to 23 million euro, if not more. So I'm wondering if Red Bull Leipzig now are going to pay that fee, or whether Manchester City are willing to accept the lesser amount. Don't know, not got an update on how much that amount is, but apparently the update is that Nagelsmann, their manager at Red Bull Leipzig, is confident that transfer can be made permanent, so something has given there, obviously. I'm just wondering, just speculation, potentially could City be looking at Upamecano and using that as a make-weight, or potentially another player at Leipzig? I do not know, but that could be a potential make-weight should Manchester City want any players from RB Leipzig. So, we're going to move on now. We've got an update on John Stones. Now, Footyinsider24 are reporting that not only are Newcastle interested in bringing in John Stones, not only are Arsenal interested, but interestingly, they've put Everton's name out there too, and apparently they want to bring in John Stones. Now, we know that Manchester City are looking to try and recoup as much of that £50 million that we paid for John Stones as possible. £40 million is believed to be what City are looking for. Now, if Newcastle were to bring in John Stones, they need that takeover to go through first. They're not going to sign John Stones unless that takeover does go through, and at this moment in time, that takeover is no nearer to completion than what it was a month or two back. So I don't have an update on there. Personally, I do not see Arsenal paying £40 million to bring in John Stones either. Would Everton be willing to pay that? Potentially. However, would Everton take John Stones back? I do not know. So there we go. I do not know what's going to be happening with the future of John Stones and whether he'll be leaving Manchester City this summer. But there is an update with regards to John Stones, and apparently City are willing to sell John Stones this summer, should we get the right price. Now, Stuart Brennan, in our next story, is giving an update on some players that could well be leaving Manchester City. Most interestingly, the update comes in the form of Claudio Bravo, saying at the MEN that Claudio Bravo will be leaving Manchester City this summer, and City are looking at potential backup options for their goalkeeper to play second fiddle, basically, to Ederson for next season. We've already got a player at City, Zach Steffen, who can play in that position. Wonderful goalkeeper, had a great spell out on loan in the Bundesliga at Dusseldorf this season. I think for one season, see how he does playing as backup to Ederson, see if he can challenge Ederson, force Ederson to get right up there to that next level and see what happens from there and assess the situation again next summer. We know that Manchester City have made Aro Muric available for loan for next season, so more than likely he'll be heading out on loan. So are City going to be sending Stefan out on loan again? Are they going to sell him on a permanent transfer? I do not know. Potentially we could be looking to bring in another goalkeeper. I also do not have an update on potentially Scott Carson's extending his stay at Manchester City. Of course, his contract is up at Derby on June 30th, and whether City are going to bring him on a free contract, whether they're going to Derby are going to extend his contract until the end of the season and City are going to carry on loaning him. I wouldn't imagine that would be an option, so I'm not too sure what's going to be happening there, but when I do have an update on that, I will give it you. Now, interestingly, Stuart Brennan at MEN also gives an update on Joao Cancelo. He says that Joao Cancelo is available for transfer and could well be leaving Manchester City this summer, along with Nicolas Otamendi. So John Stones believed to be made available for transfer. I will say one thing, Otamendi and Stones will not be leaving this summer. Both of them won't. I do imagine, though, however, one of them players will. Will it be Otamendi or will it be Stones? We're still waiting for further clarification. Stuart Brennan believes that player could well be Nicolas Otamendi. I believe that we could get more money for John Stones and Otamendi, though, and City making him available for transfer. Not too sure what is going to be happening there. But in terms of Cancelo, apparently City are looking at a right-back, and City want to sign a right-back this summer, and they want Cancelo to leave. We've got an update on another player that I'll speak about in a moment, so I can give a further update on Joao Cancelo. So I'll move on to the ins, which will take me onto a new name. So it takes us in the form of Dwight McNeil, the 20-year-old winger playing for Burnley. He's had an outstanding season for Burnley, and Mark Ogden at ESPN, he's been reporting that City could well be using Dwight McNeil as their potential replacement for Leroy Sané. He's a homegrown player, which would allow us to sign non-homegrown players should John Stones leave, and so killing two birds with one stone there. I like McNeil. I think he's a good player. I'm not too sure if he'd be happy for his progress to be sitting on the bench, which is, I imagine, what would be happening in challenging players. I think he'd be a good signing. I just don't think this is the right move for McNeil to make. And also, he's young. He's homegrown. Burnley will want a lot of money, and I don't imagine City will be willing to spend too much money on a Leroy Sané replacement. And there would be, in my opinion, cheaper alternatives out there which have more experience, which could be a better option for Manchester City. So I'm talking players like Leon Bailey and Ferran Torres that are apparently available for roughly around 40 to 50 million pounds, whereas McNeil, he could cost that. He could cost a little bit more. You know how expensive homegrown players can be. So I'm not too sure, but if we do sign McNeil, I would like to see him at Manchester City. Now, I've got an update on Achraf Hakimi that Manchester City have been linked with, and I'm going to link in that story that I was mentioning with Joao Cancelo. This is really disappointing news. He's set to sign for Inter Milan for €40 million, which is a really good price from Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund were really keen on bringing him in, but Inter Milan have stolen a march on them, and they are closing in on bringing him in, according to Sky Sport in Italy and several sources in Italy too. €40 million. I'm surprised City, if we're looking at sorting out the future of Cancelo, I'm surprised City aren't interested, if I'm completely honest. But like I said, Inter Milan have moved really quickly here. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. Now, with Cancelo, we know that Barcelona were interested. However, they've cooled their interest. They say now they're no longer interested, and so City aren't interested in bringing in Nelson Semedo. So Cancelo then was linked with Inter Milan. They were getting linked with Kyle Walker too. They're set to sign a right-back in Hakimi. So City are going to miss out on a potential replacement for Cancelo. And so all arrows, in my opinion, are pointing towards Cancelo staying. But Stuart Brennan at MEN is reporting that he's not going to. So if he does leave, who are City going to target? Let me know in the comments below. Who would you like Manchester City to sign? And so, without further ado, Kalidou Koulibaly. Now, Jose Alvarez has been reporting that Kalidou Koulibaly, he is Manchester City's preferred option for a centre-back this summer. He has put out some other names there too. He's mentioned Carlos Soyuncu as an option, but City feel his price is too high. Alessandro Bastini of Inter Milan has also been mentioned too, but City putting all their focus on Kalidou Koulibaly, 29-year-old centre-back, a wonderful football player, apparently available for roughly just over £70 million. City have negotiated with Napoli previously. That didn't go well with Jorginho, and I wouldn't have thought that City would be too keen on returning back to go and competing with Napoli for a transfer. But here we are. We know that Koulibaly would suit the sky blue, so he won't have any problem in looking out of sorts, in my opinion, in the Manchester City sky blue. Is also a wonderful centre-back who would vastly improve our defensive options, and that is something that City need to prioritise, and so the signing would make sense. 29 years old, £70 million. It is very expensive, but we're getting to a point where City do need to sign a top-class centre-back. We need to spend money to do that, and we need proven, experienced players. And signing top-class players like Koulibaly would make sense. However, that £70 million, I imagine Napoli will be looking for more and more and more, so I imagine it'll be a long, drawn-out transfer, but we do have an advantage here. We have heard it all before with Jorginho and Napoli, but Kalidou Koulibaly wants to play with Pep Guardiola. He wants to play for Manchester City, and that is crucial in us signing players. So I'm just going to throw that one out there. Now, further update, Il Mattino, a source in Italy, in Naples. They've been using previous sources as they mentioned it, but they chucked out €72 million fee. They also mentioned a 5-year contract, which I found particularly interesting. Now, City, they're reluctant to pay £70 million, and apparently could use some players as a makeshift in being able to get that price down. Players that's been chucked out there, Joao Cancelo that we've mentioned, who I think is a decent right-back, who would do very well at Napoli. Zinchenko's name has also been mentioned, who again, I think would be a success. These are two quality, good football players, but apparently Napoli are only interested in bringing in one Manchester City player if they want to negotiate, and that is Gabriel Jesus. My opinion only here, I value Gabriel Jesus at more than that price as £72 million that Napoli are mentioning for Kalidou Koulibaly. We're talking for Brazil's number 9. He starts for Brazil. He's an international football player. He's a young football player too. He scores goals. He works hard. He's a proven Premier League striker as well. A player that I don't want City to lose and we don't need to sell. £72 million, I'd be looking, honestly, I'd be looking for triple-digit million figure for Gabriel Jesus. Will Napoli pay that and swap and look for a difference of £20 to £30 million? I'm not so sure. It's a complicated deal. City have negotiated with Napoli before. They are very stubborn. We know what we're getting into. It's going to be a difficult transfer to get done, but like I said, the update here, it's crucial. He wants to join Manchester City, and it's been reported by several sources, not only in Italy, but in England too. He is close to signing for Manchester City. There's going to be plenty more updates on this, I am sure, and I'm sure I'll have more updates in my next video, so make sure you stay tuned, make sure you press that red button, subscribe, press that bell, put your push notifications on to be notified immediately when I do upload with that next Manchester City transfer update. And I'm also aiming for 7,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Time of recording this video, we're now less than 500 subscribers away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. You can also find my social media links, which you can find in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. You can also find my email in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget also leave your thoughts in the comments below. Kalidou Koulibaly, what are your opinions on him becoming a Manchester City player? Potentially, and also don't forget, leave your thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm aiming for 160 likes, so any help towards that will be much appreciated. I'll be back again for another video tomorrow. I'll be doing that live stream again with my match preview, match reaction and watch along of the Manchester City game away at Newcastle United in the FA Cup. I'll also be doing a live match analysis after the game. I have great interactions with everyone on here, so go and make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll have the video out for that either this evening or tomorrow morning, where you can set your reminder, and I'll see everyone live tomorrow for that video. So I've been JSGC. I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope everyone is staying safe and well too. It's throwing it down with rain. It's a lot cooler here in the UK. You might hear some background noise. I apologise for that. And I'll see you all again for the next video. So I've been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.